Oh, hello there. So, I do a lot of poking around on social media, asking questions to, various guitar forums and guitar groups and all that sort of stuff, just to see what everybody's frustration is with songwriting or just music theory or anything like that. And I was surprised to see that a lot of it is centered around procrastination or not being able to finish songs or just writer's block in general, and a lot for lyrics, and I'll get into that later on, maybe another video. But I wanted to talk about ways of breaking through writer's block and just freeing up the spontaneous creativity that happens once you get into a flow state, right? Sometimes it requires some specific prompts to kind of break through. So in today's video, I want to explore 3 different ways to create variety within a riff. Let's get started. Number 1, using the freedom of limitations. So that's kind of like a fancy term, right? But basically what I'm trying to say is painting yourself into a corner creatively in order for you to kind of fight your way out of it. So there are many ways to do this, but just consider this a template of sorts. Take it and see how you can twist it around and make it your own thing. This particular technique of creating limitations is something that I've borrowed from fellow instructors, and I've even seen people talk about this on podcasts. The first way we can do this is to try to write a piece of music using only 3 notes. So in today's example, I'm going to use the notes B, F sharp, and A. Okay, so I'm gonna write a riff using 3 notes, right? And right off the bat, it's gonna feel super, super limiting, but that's a good thing. That's the whole point, to get the brain going and to find a creative solution to this boundary that you're setting on yourself, all right? So I said that I'm gonna use 3 notes, but that still allows me to use octaves, right? To create some sense of variety. So if I pick, for example, B, F sharp, and A, I have a whole different set of octaves to use from this. So let's see if I can figure something out here. So we have, so there's the octave of B, right? And now I'm going to F sharp, so it's like, and then maybe, after the 3rd time, or 4th time rather, there's my A. So it's like, that sounds really repetitive and boring if I keep doing it like that. So let's see if I can add to that. So we have, so I'm just repeating F sharp here. But let's change up the way that it goes around. So let's do, right? Sounds a little more interesting, but even then, to me, it still sounds like I could use some help. So let's try. Okay, so that sounds better. Let's see if we can throw in some more octaves. So we have, and then, that'd be cool. So we have, yeah, that's cool. So boom. Right? So again, just repeating A down here. And you can get as crazy with it as you want to, all while stuck in the parameters of using only 3 notes to write a riff, right? So hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so now let's just put all of those little fragments together to have this. Let's see. Number 2, write a riff from a lyric. So this might sound a little strange, but if you think about it, all words have a structure to them and a rhythm, right, when you speak them. There are syllables, there are spaces, right? There's a rhythm, there's a cadence to certain phrases, and maybe an outside perspective on songwriting could be just to look at a piece of, written text or just written words, if it's a lyric, if it's a line or anything, and see, count up the number of syllables and see how many numbers that is and see if that adds up to, an even number or an odd number. I've written things that have used a weird odd rhythm and then based, my riffing off of that. I think even I took a line from a movie one time, and for some reason, the line just stuck with me because I just really liked the way it was all put together, and it would get stuck in my head. And then after a while, I would just kind of recite it back to myself, and I realized it was a very odd rhythm. So if memory serves correct, the line was, "This mustn't register on an emotional level." So for me, I just kept reciting it back. "This mustn't register on an emotional level. This mustn't register on an emotional level. This mustn't register on an emotional level." And I haven't even counted out what the time signature is on that, but it was interesting enough for me to try to build off of that and create something from it.
This mustn't register on an emotional level. This mustn't register on an emotional level. This mustn't register on an emotional level. This mustn't register on an emotional level.
Let's take a look at some other examples as well. Yeah, let's just pick a couple of words that add to 4 syllables, and then we're just gonna take 4 notes from the C major scale to play around with and come up with a melody that fits the lyrics. So what do you have so far? Okay, so I am enough. Perfect. Let's take 4 notes out of that C major scale and just test them out with the lyrics and see what sounds good, see what doesn't sound good, and then it just becomes like a process of elimination from there. So choose 4 notes, and I want you to call out the names of the notes. D, okay, cool. Yep, so D, C. You could go back to D, just like D, C, E, D. Hear how that sounds good, right? It's kind of like, I am enough. And finally, number 3, play your riff backwards. It's as simple as that. Try explore writing a melody or a riff or a motif or anything like that, and then go back and analyze how it would sound in reverse. So just reverse everything. Its starting point, its ending point, the phrasing, where the accents are, all of that sort of stuff. And you can have a lot of fun with this. In fact, I've been having a blast all day doing this. And let's check out a few examples that I have here. So, talking about like reversing the order of notes played in a specific riff, right? So here's a riff that I have. Very simple, right? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we take this, we start from the very end and work backwards, right? So it's, we have that. So it's, which to me sounds actually like a really cool riff by itself. And then you could just mix it up and just. Thanks so much for watching, I appreciate it. If you want to learn any of the examples that I show in today's video, I have tablature for everything involved here on my blog. There's a link in the description that'll take you directly to it. So feel free to go check that out. I figured it would be easier just to kind of include free tabs on my blog rather than try to make it a link that's downloadable. That way you can just have it and it's there. So anyway, drop me a line if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.